Oh my goodness. I like it. Welcome back, friends. This is a pretty exciting day for me because we're going to start up some of the 48 volt systems. I haven't completely finished them, but it's a good time to give them a go. In the last video, Charles asked the question, how will I keep the water out of going up the vent hole? You can see in this video how. Here I'm adding the aluminium buzz bars. This one will go here. And it's very important to give them a very good sanding because the oxide layer on the surface of aluminium is non-conductive to electricity. And I'll put a little bit of liner coat on them as well to stop any corrosion. They should be really good. I can't see a problem. Just got to tighten all these. Then we're in business for installing a lot of wiring. I've got to finish connecting the outboard power supply to the power supply on the boat. There's 4 wires that are used. So I said previously in the previous video there was 2 wires, but so I think the power uses all 4 large connector holes here. The rest of the data going through these other extremely delicate, minute little connectors there won't be used in the system, as I mentioned before. The switch is also obsolete. They came with the whole system. I won't be using that. I'll just be making a connection between these 2 red wires and these 2 black wires into the boat system. This is the windlass or winch which will pull the keel up and down, or pull it up, that I converted from 12 volts to 48 volts by changing out the motor and working on the adapter that goes from the motor to the winch. The wiring is coming along for this. I'm starting from the winch end and working my way towards the panel. One of the tricks I learned off watching electricians on boats, and for any situation really, is give it a loop before you do the connection, and it gives you options. The 48 volt side of the panel is nearly fully wired up. I've just got the windlass, and what's that one? That's solar in, solar out to the solar charger. The induction cooker is wired up, but like everything else, it's not tested yet. I'm finding these are no good. I don't like them because when you crimp this yellow part, it squeezes out the side and makes a bit of a mess, and doesn't seem that well stuck on there. So I've been taking the yellow part off, the plastic, before crimping, and putting shrink wrap on the wires. It's yet to be tidied up, of course. Be on to the 12 volt side of it soon. Okay, it's just a temporary connection, so I won't be putting any non-corrosion compounds on anything. Got my 100 amp fuse here. Theoretically, when I touch this, there should be no sparks, as expected. Okay, everything's switched off on the board. Theoretically, I've got power to this main switch. It goes to the buzz bar after the main switch on here behind these breakers, and then you get the individual connections to the switches. I won't be turning the solar on today. I might turn on the DC just to see if it's putting out power to the 12 volt panel, but that won't be my first thing I do. First thing we'll do is turn on the main power, and no problem there. So theoretically now the 48 volt side is live. The DC won't show anything. I'll probably get, will I get a light on? Yeah, I'll get a light on if I turn that on. And I do. That's good. Right, because I'm not doing any 12 volt stuff today, I'll just leave that off. What'll we test first, guys? Probably what's the easiest. I forget how to turn on the induction, and I should have brought down a pot. I don't think it turns on necessarily unless you've got a pot on it, from what I remember. Let's do the windlass first of all, because I know that's probably the easiest and most straightforward. Here we go. So it's not a foot switch in this case, it's a knee switch. So that's all connected up. It's all connected up at the motor. It'll be interesting to see if it turns the right direction. So I'll be putting my knee into the switch and hoping that turns. Here we go, first time. Woohoo! Yep, it's going the wrong direction. Even though I connected up positive to the positive on the motor. Well, that's a real easy fix, but here we go. It really does rotate quite fast. Certainly faster than I'd like. We'll see how that works out in the long term. I don't know if I can get a slower turning motor. Okay, second test, outboard. So, to be honest, I haven't read the manual as much as I probably should. So I guess it's straightforward. Power on. Woohoo! Propeller clear. The battery is 52 volts. Oh my goodness. I like it. Well, it looks like it's going to show the watts that it's using, even without all the data side of it connected to the battery, which makes sense, I suppose. Of course, it's only using about 26 watts because it's just spinning air at the moment. And astern. Wow, there we go, guys. That's pretty exciting for me. It's showing a full battery there. Okay, that's something I'm not going to get from this because it's not talking to the battery in an intelligent way. It's just taking power off it. But that's why I've got the battery monitor inside there. So it's probably always going to show a full battery, I imagine. I think last time I checked the battery with the Bluetooth, it was about roughly 50%. There could be a case of it having to read what a full battery is or what an empty battery is. Okay, let's see if we can cook some water. I do remember without the right kind of induction pot on the cooker, it was hard to start last time, but once got everything sorted, it was fine. So outboard off, induction cooker on. Whoa, that made the right sound. Okay, for the first time on the boat, although when I first bought it I did connect it up in the kitchen in the house. Right, let's put the pot on. Turn it on. Oh my goodness, it's straight into full power. That's 900 watts. Oh, this is just going so well. Look at that, you can start to see it swirling in there already. 900 watts. There's quite a bit of juice going into that. No breakers are popping, which is a fine thing. $1,200 watts. It's actually going up a little bit more than I spec'd for. I based the 50 amp breaker on 1200 watts with quite a bit of left over, just fortunately, because I think this unit is sold as 1200 watts, but it seems like it can put out 1.5 kilowatts, 1500 watts. Dinner's cooking. It's looking pretty warm. I don't know if I should risk putting my finger in there. Oh yeah, it's pretty warm. I could have a shower with that. Well, I exaggerate. Oh, why not? Might as well give it a bit of a test. Full power. Steam is coming off. That's the beauty of induction. There's no heat coming out the sides of it. I had a visitor the other day and asked me if I was worried about the carbon fibre getting too hot. No. When I was building this top though, it did occur to me that carbon fibre is conductive, of course, and I was wondering if any of the induction would get connected up with it, and I suppose it would be getting warm if that was the case. So far so good. I still haven't worked out how I'm going to anchor this down yet. I may have to resort to some screws going up from underneath into its feet, which will be a pain because I want it to be easily removed. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. Any suggestions would be most welcome. How do I anchor this down? I've seen in town that you can get induction kettles as well, so that certainly would be the way to go. I'm going to check the battery after this because that battery's been sitting around for a long time. I think it came close to being fully charged, but I think I got it at least a year ago. So technically we're on a stir fry. Apparently for a stir fry you use full power. Oh, what do you normally use on water? I'm not sure how you change the mode. So I started filming 5 minutes ago. I suppose that's quite a bit of water. It looks like about 1.5 litres maybe. Well, it's boiling. You can't see it, but there's a grin on my face. No breakers have popped in the making of this video. You'll be happy to know. I think most of the heat comes from radiating from the pot itself onto this surface. It's just causing the metal in the bottom of the pot to get a bit excited, and that's what's causing the heat. I don't know if it'll get any more vicious or any more of a rolling boil than that, but there you go. I would call that a success. That's interesting. I just turned the power off, and as you'd expect, my welder does the same. It's got to keep on running for a little while to with the fan to cool down whatever's inside there, putting out all that power. That makes sense. Well, I've achieved what I wanted to for this video. The outboard works, the winch works, although it's rotating the wrong way, and that's easy to fix. I just have to change the polarity on the wiring. The induction cooker worked, not an issue there, nothing to change. Yeah, the outboard worked fine. That seems to be everything I could have hoped for. Of course, there'll be a lot more wiring to do, all the 12 volt side of it, and I'll get this monitor going before next time. But before I know it, I'll be done with the wiring, with the electrical, and then I've got a choice of whether I put the windows in, make a cover for the battery box, which is also a step, and make some rails with some slides in the galley to put things behind underneath the side deck. I'll wrap up the video here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week, and we'll have some 12 volt news.